Everybody, it's your girl, Princess Jasmine.
And I'm me. Who are you? Today we have a special guest with us.
I'm Lex, aka Malcolm Lex.
And today our topic of discussion is about race. And with that being said, we're going to keep it
Cool.
Keep it classy.
and most of all, keep it respectful. Questions?
So, my question is, in today's society, how do we, as a people, identify that there is a racist situation? Because everybody's perspective is not always the same.
So basically, what constitutes racism?
Right.
Everyone's definition seems to be different as far as that. So, what constitutes racism? What do you perceive that, or what actions are shown when you can actually say, okay, that was racist?
Mm-hmm.
Racial slurs, for one. Definitely.
Most
that.
profoundly, the N-word. Now, with that being said, we hear a lot of, people of the Caucasian persuasion tend to say, well, people of color call themselves that.
That's us
So
taking
why
it back.
can't we? Well, we took a word that was very demeaning and used towards our ancestors and our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and we turned it into a term of endearment, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas when we're saying it to each other, it's the same as saying homie, friend,
Right.
somebody who you genuinely connect with on a friend, almost brother type level.
Like how females.
But
take
when
the
it
word.
comes from a different nationality, it kind of deters away from what we mean.
Right.
That's how we take it. It deters away from what we mean towards one another.
Like Ice Cube said, that's our word now. You're not getting it back.
Right. Exactly.
So no. And don't get it twisted. When we say the word, ours end in an A, not an ER.
Right.
Two different.
Which definitely takes away from the slave mentality,
The root
connotations
of
of,
that word.
negativity.
Yes.
It takes all of that away from it the way that we perceive that.
Exactly.
So I asked, what is some of the take that, how do some of our younger people actually see that word nowadays? How are you using it? How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
I think it's a word that wasn't just adopted by black folks, and rightfully so. Like, even though, I think the problem with this is who can be defined as racist? Because black people can be racist.
Well, I was going to ask, can black people be racist?
Some, yeah. They could be racist against their own kind. They could be racist against other races.
Exactly.
It happens.
So basically, if you really were to sum it up, at the end of the day, racism is just stupid.
Yeah. Flat
It's
out.
stupid and pointless.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you look at humanity,
That's the only race that
word
matters.
sums up the human race, period.
Yes.
And it doesn't dictate what color you are, what creed you are, how different you are from one another. It actually categorizes each and every human being on the planet as humans. That's the
That's the
bottom
only
line.
race.
That's it.
That's it. That's all. We're like the Crayola crayon box.
Right.
We come in different colors. We offer different,
Cultures
cultures
different
and
activities
beliefs
that
and
go on
dynamics.
within that,
And
yeah.
at the end of the day, when we work together, we create awesomeness. But you have those who, for some reason, tend to think that the crayon box should only consist of one color. Since when is one color a good thing?
Yeah. And in what world does that actually help humanity, the bigger word here? In what way does one color help humanity? How does that help any of us to identify with one another or learn things from one another? How does that help us? And that's a broad question, because there are so many people who are so absent-minded or so tunnel vision that they think that only one race exists or one race should exist, and it's asinine. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Not to mention that they feel like one race should dominate the entire world. No. I believe we were meant to coexist with each other for a reason, a purpose. Not to constantly be at each other's throats and you know, because I'm a different shade than you, then you're not worthy, or I'm not worthy. It's like, it's pathetic if you think about it. Because if we were all to take off our skin, we would all look exactly the same underneath.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then what? What other reason can you find to dislike someone then?
Yeah, you'll really be fishing then.
Right. Right. If you dislike someone, it should be about their character. If it's negative and it's affecting you or others in some way, shape, or form. You don't dislike somebody because they're a different shade. That's just ridiculous, petty, and weak-minded.
I got a question. How do y'all know which white folks are racist and which aren't?
In a lot of ways, that's easy due to the fact that some of them really, really show it. Like, they really show it. Their actions, the silent communication, like we talked about yesterday in our segment. Like, for example, how they kind of like stray away from you when they're around you, or they won't say anything to you if you're asking them a question. A prime example of that is when I first came to Georgia, my first time ever stepping foot in Georgia, and I was looking for a job. I was down there on in Midtown, and I didn't know anything about Midtown. So I was asking for directions, and this white lady was standing there. So I'm just asking her, which direction do I go to get to this particular place where I was going to?
Right.
And she was like, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm just asking for directions. I don't want anything from you. I'm not homeless or anything. I'm just asking for directions. And she would not, for the life of her, say anything to me. She just kept walking away. She just walked away. And I'm just like, whatever. So I ended up asking someone else that was able to point me into the right direction. They was the same nationality as me, but it was just crazy how that little small thing, she couldn't just say, just go that way. I didn't ask for a conversation. You could just say, go this way.
Right.
And you'll be on the right track. You know, anything. Or just point. So you didn't even have to say anything.
Really
just
is
point.
that simple, yeah.
Right, so it is not acknowledging racism just as bad as being racist.
I feel it is.
I feel it is.
I feel it is.
Because it's just like the whole thing with the
police.
with the police
Yes.
brutality.
Yes.
You know, if you got a good cop standing there watching the bad cop
And you don't do anything
use
or
excessive
say
force
anything,
and you're not doing or
you're
saying
just
anything,
as guilty.
you're just as guilty.
Just as guilty.
Y'all think the majority of the people believe that?
That's
Well,
hard to say.
to me, you said, do we think the majority of people believe that? My thing is this.
That's protesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do.
The ones
I
that
honestly
think
do
that's
think that they
yes.
feel that, and
I don't feel like
that is another reason that sparked the protest, because you have people who will say, "Oh, but not all cops are like that. There's good cops too." Okay, if there were so many good cops, the bad cops wouldn't keep getting away with the stuff that they're doing. You're not going to tell me that the good cops don't know what the bad cops are doing. They're considered a brotherhood, correct?
Right.
So the brotherhood knows what each other is doing. And if you're not lifting a finger to stop that, you're just as guilty as the person who's doing it. Period. That's just a fact. And nobody can try and, you know, sugarcoat that. If you are watching somebody do something wrong to another person and you don't intervene on that, okay, you're just as guilty as the person who's committing the actual act. Actually, you're worse because you're actually watching it happen.
Right.
And you're doing nothing to prevent it. The one who's doing it know what they're doing. You're watching it, you know what they're doing, and you're not stepping in to stop it. So you're worse. You're worse.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with
So I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear all these people who keep trying to defend, the police or whatever. Okay, you can do that, but you want to keep walking around with blinders on. Like I said, people who defend this type of thing, it's not hitting home with them because it's not personally affecting them. So it's easy for them to come and make excuses, yada yada, or point the finger and say, well, if they would have did what they were told, or if they would have listened, or if they wouldn't have did this, or if they wouldn't have No. I don't care if the person didn't listen. I don't care if the person was mouthing off. That is no justification to put someone in any form of hold that could potentially kill them or physically harm them in any way. You are the police. You are civil servants. You work for the people. The people pay your salary.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Yeah.
We don't owe you. You owe us. You owe the taxpayers who pay your salaries. And for you to think that you can just simply do whatever you want and it just goes unchecked and there's no consequences. If you don't allow ordinary people to get away with stuff like that, why the hell is it different for cops?
It's not.
Everyday working Joe Schmoes can go and put their knee on somebody's neck and don't nobody try to stop them.
Right.
But that because of that medal you wear on your chest, that automatically gives you license to do what you want. How's that? Especially when you're doing it to people who pay your salaries. Let's keep that in mind.
Now, a question about that: Can police brutality also be seen as a racist action against the people?
I firmly think it's a power trip. I think a lot of that is a power trip. I think because they feel like they are the police, they can do whatever they want. They get a slap on the wrist. You get paid administrative leave. It's
I think a lot of police officers probably got beat up as a kid.
Yeah, it's a power trip. I firmly think that. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you do have some racist cops out there, both black and white and Mexican and whatever other color you could think. But for the most part, I firmly think it's more of a power trip. I do.
And
So
that could definitely be true. That could definitely ring true, as well as like Lex was saying with the childhood incidents that happened to them, and now that they've gotten into a position where they could do something different instead of them doing something better, they're doing something worse.
okay, but I think also at the end of the day, their training is so minimal that anybody can become a cop. I firmly think they should have to go through the same things that FBI and CIA and all have to go through. What is that? Where they have to get screened as far as their personality and behavior analysis and how would you react in this situation. I think they need to go through the same type of training. And that will weed out a lot of this. Because if the red flags raise up while you're going through that training, then no, you're not getting it. You have some racist cops out there.
Yeah, and the good definitely needs to outweigh the bad, no matter what, and no matter what instances, what situations there are. The good definitely needs to outweigh the bad. So, let me ask this: how do you think racism would affect the world if, at some point, it was either minimized or totally obliterated from the planet itself? How do you think the world would be? What changes would?
I think the only way to honestly take out racism is for something outside the earth to affect the earth. because people would have to see each other as a whole at that point, and because they would face something bigger than them.
Kind of like Independence Day, where you had the
Sure.
extraterrestrials against the humans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I
think
really think that is so sad that something like that will have to happen in order for people to stop nonsense. That's just, I mean, what does that actually say about the human race? Like, what does that say?
Well,
That it would literally need to say something like that in order for people to stop being stupid. That is so sad.
Well, it definitely raised the flag of our lack of ability to come together on our own. And this is crazy because these are some of the things that we teach our children, how to be able to make better decisions or to do things on your own, be independent and things of that nature. But how do you equate that to racism when racism is practically in the same category of every person should think of another person for themselves, not one particular race of people thinking of everybody the same and one particular race of people sticking together on that same ignorant incident? Because it's definitely about ignorance. You couldn't possibly know anything about the people who you are against. There's no way in hell.
Well, my thing is, I think that, okay, no one's saying, and at least I don't believe anyone's saying, that you shouldn't be proud of your heritage or race, whether you're white, black, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Russian, whatever you are. Nobody's saying that you should not be proud of that. You should be. That's a part of who you are. But at the same time, don't try to diminish others who are not of your same ethnic background. That's just like with Black Lives Matter. Everybody keeps saying that, well, all lives matter, all lives matter. Okay, no one ever said all lives did not matter. No one ever said that.
Right.
But at this particular time, when so much injustice is being done towards the black community, not to mention within the black community, which is why Black Matters was formed in the first place, can't stress that enough. I get so sick and tired of people saying, well, you guys are saying Black Lives Matter, but yet black people kill black people, white people kill white people, Mexican people kill Mexican people. What's your point?
Right.
I'm just saying, don't try to diminish the phrase Black Lives Matter and make it about, oh, well, you guys kill each other. Every race has that issue.
Right.
It's not just black people. Every race has that issue. And it pisses me off when I see somebody say it. I swear I want to slap the taste out there. It burns, make my blood boil. Because that is such ignorance and stupidity to even let that come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I think a big problem with that is black people who say that, they forget that we are only 14% of the country.
And you gotta realize a lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people don't even know the percentages. Right. So it's easy to say, well, look at what they do. They tear up their own communities. Look at that.
Right, kind of just get
like seriously.
Yeah, it helped kind of the white folks justify.
Boom, and that's what pisses me off the most.
What's right?
It's like, are you serious? Yeah. This is about Black Lives Matter right now, that protesting that's going on right now. And it's not just black people who are doing it. It's some of everyone who has joined in on that because they have eyes, they have a logical thinking brain, they can see what's going on, and they know that it's not right. By the way, it's not just happening to black people. It's being shown that it's happening to black people more, but it's also happening to white people. It's also happening to Mexican people, but they're not putting it out there like that. Everybody should be outraged at this shit. Not just black people. Everybody should be. Because it's happening to everyone. Just because you're not seeing it, don't think that it's not. The common denominator is the injustice of it all. The brutality, unnecessary brutality at that, of it all. But nobody's looking at that. Everybody keep on saying, well, you know, blue lives matter. At this point, I can give a fuck about blue lives. Excuse my French, but I can give a fuck. I'm sorry. I just don't. I won't, and I won't until something changes within that.
Well, the worst, to me, the bad part about that is that a lot of them say all lives matter, but you still help out the injustices that are done against other nationalities of people that are different from your own.
Well, that's my point. That's being a hypocrite, because if all lives matter, then you would be right with Black Lives Matter.
Right.
If all lives matter, are not Black lives included in the all lives? I'm just saying, is it not?
And it does make it seem segregated.
And also, where's the all lives matter for those babies that's still in them detention centers? That's locked up in there.
Yeah.
In those poor conditions. Where y'all at with that? But all lives matter. You quick to throw that out there when Black people start to uprise and you know, want to protest some injustice that's going on. Y'all quick to scream that out.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are you when it's happening to not Black folks but people of other races? Where is the all lives matter on that? Where that say?
That's a good question.
So my thing is, shut up. Period. Shut up. Don't let that come out of your mouth. If you're not backing it up, shut up.
But not only that, think about all lives matter when we're talking about voting, you know, for different offices, like, you know, our sheriffs, our senators, our Democrats, our Republicans. Think about all lives matter then, because
when they're trying to suppress the vote.
When you got all these people in office not doing their jobs, does all lives matter when they're not doing their jobs? Does all lives matter when they actually go ahead and say it's okay for certain things to happen in the regions, the districts, the areas where they're supposed to actually be governing? Does all lives matter then when they're allowing all of these racist things to happen, when they're allowing all these epidemics to become pandemics?
The veterans being mistreated, not receiving their proper
homelessness. That's all lives matter.
All lives, where you at? I'm just saying, where you at? You want to shout that out so quickly, but where are you? Where are you?
And don't get me wrong, I do agree that all lives matter, but I don't agree that all lives matter when you get to pick and choose what you mean by all lives. That's when I don't agree with that.
Exactly.
Because when you saying that all lives matter, and when Black Lives Matter come out and you segregate yourself away from Black Lives Matter instead of joining
you're
the party,
basically saying all lives matter except Black lives.
Right.
That's what we take on that is, yeah. So Black lives aren't included in that whole all.
Yeah.
The reason why we're being specific on Black lives is, like I said, right now,
Black lives are being oppressed.
Black lives are being the most affected right now, and nobody seems to give a damn but Black people.
And it's one of the most publicized instances that are actually going on in today's society.
Exactly.
So,
and I'm quite sure because this is a heated topic, and you know, I'm pretty sure my comments are going to get some negative feedback, which, by the way, feel free. I really don't care. But I'm going to keep it real as far as how I feel on the subject. And I'm not going to sugarcoat words. I'm not going to do, like I said, yesterday and I previously said, I don't live with rose-colored glasses on. No, the hills are not a lie with every, day passing. So, if you were offended by what I said or anything I said, you're just going to have to take that offense, because I will not apologize for that.
Exactly.
I won't. Because sometimes the hard, harsh stuff needs to be said. And if I'm the one that needs to say it, then so be it. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And that, as far as our Black community, yes, you guys need to get your shit together. No doubt. This is something that's talked about forever. Little do people who constantly like to bring up, will Black people kill Black people? Yeah. That's an ongoing battle that we've had within our community since I can remember, as far as that. So you're not telling us nothing new nor bringing up anything new. Which, by the way, Black Lives Matter reform was formed by 3 mothers of children who died due to black on black crime. Why y'all so quick to try to take away the meaning of Black Lives Matter? Do your fucking homework and do some real research before you want to open your mouth on something you know nothing about.
That's another thing about the whole racist thing. I feel like if people did their homework on other cultures, other creeds, nationalities, races, things of that nature, you wouldn't have anything to feel like feel inferior or feel in fear of, because now you're putting yourself in a situation where you'd be actually educated about this other culture that you quote unquote dislike, hate, want to kill, things of that nature. We're not insects. We're not little bugs that you can just walk around and just step on, and we're not supposed to be able to defend ourselves. Those days where you had the protest with Martin Luther King saying, don't fight back, don't fight back. And you had Malcolm X saying, by any means necessary. Honestly, I'm against Martin Luther King saying where he was telling the people not to fight back. I'm against that because I feel like if the people would have fought back, things would be different today.
Yeah.
I'm with Malcolm X, by any means necessary, because that is exactly what was used against us when we were hosed, when we were hung out in the open, and then you're taking pictures of it. You burning our churches, burning our homes, burning our cars up, total vandalism, and being able to get away with that. So, by any means necessary, if you're doing everything by any means necessary against our people, then we should have the right to do anything by any means necessary to defend ourselves.
Exactly.
Because if you know anything about our people, they are not fighting against other people, other nationalities. We're more like trying to learn to understand other nationalities, whereas we got all of these nationalities coming against us. That makes no sense at all.
Well, if you think about it, with all the comments that I was seeing, they want the people of color of today, and I'm not going to refer to us as black because I'm sorry, this is black. I'm not that shade. I'm not this color.
Right.
I am a person of melanin, yes.
Right.
As we all are, whose pigmentation is of a more colored tone. But they want the people of melanin of this time to act like the people back in that time. That's why a lot of them, well, Martin Luther King wouldn't, condone this, and Martin Luther King didn't preach about this, and Martin Luther King didn't yada yada yada. Really don't care what he would have condoned, or what the fact that he even allowed and talked people into allowing themselves to go through what they went through. If I'm thankful for those people who actually did that. I'm not going to give him thanks, because for you to talk your people into standing there, getting hoes, getting dogs sicked on them, getting damn near burned alive on buses, getting hit with pipes, getting their properties burned down, churches burned, their crosses burning in front of their home, didn't even care if the children. I'm thanking you for that? Well, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful for the people who actually endured that. I'm thankful for them because they actually, for whatever reason, listened to him and they had the courage to endure that. So I have to give them respect for that. I don't have to give him respect because I'm sorry, but I refuse to think that it's okay to allow my people to say, okay, yeah, stand there and take it because we have a point to prove.
Another thing with Martin Luther King, a big thing that's taught in history with that, is that the way how he was able to get all those people to follow him and believe what he
Like the Pied
believed
Piper.
was because he was using Christian beliefs
Oh.
to get them to do all of that. That's part of that. He's telling them that if you don't do anything, turn the other cheek, God will handle those people that's doing wrong to the blacks or whatever, and things like that. Telling them things like that, allowing them to sit in jails and be beaten and all that other type of stuff, because they're all following a Christian belief.
But you know, I think the way the black community, whatever belief you are, the only way we're gonna figure each other out, as lost as the black community kind of been in America the last 200 years, is if we use our abilities to voice like certain stuff. We got it as far as music and
Yes.
articulating our word, the English words.
Yes.
Is better than they have. And if we figure out how to use that, like platforms
Like now,
like
what
this,
we're doing.
and,
Yes.
and just group discussions amongst black people, it'll
Mhm.
help understand each other and why people kind of having all this kind of
Well, my thing
frustration.
is this: I don't think we need to try to understand them. They
No,
need to
no, I'm
try to
talking
understand us.
Just like everybody in general getting an understanding of each other.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
I get that part, but I'm saying
but I mean necessarily like they don't have to be near us. I'm like for
True.
instance,
That's true.
If you may not be able to sing or dance or anything, but if you're black, you can voice your opinion nowadays,
Mhm.
which is kind of the most important thing nowadays, because everyone is kind of confused. They're in the house, they're trying to understand other people and what's going on,
they're trying
and
to
why
understand what's going on.
why people aren't wearing masks, why certain people are, what people think about the whole situation. But the best thing for black people, if we're getting hit the hardest, is to understand each other. If we can't come group together. After Juneteenth, it's like a lot of black people wasn't even in any more groups like that. Like they kind of dispersed after the holidays passed, and then it's a distance again.
And that's usually what happens is because so much of our roots were hidden.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem right there. So much of our root, and people can say, oh, that was a long time ago, this is now, you gotta realize your roots are extremely important no matter what time you're living in. You should always know your roots and where they stem from, because that will help you understand where you stem from. The qualities about yourself that you probably wonder, why am I like this? Or, why do I gravitate this way? This, that. It helps you understand you better. And the fact that our roots was pretty much taken, and we have to go on a treasure hunt to find them and understand who we are as a people and where we really truly come from. To me, that is what will bring our community closer. Is when we're able to put those roots out there and say, okay, look, this is where you truly stem from. This is what you're truly made of. Then that's when our community will become stronger and almost invincible. Because I'm not trying to sound like, we better or anything, but we are strong people. We've been, our ancestors and our great-grandparents and grandparents went through a lot. We don't go through half as much as they did. So we come from very strong roots. But it's time for that to be acknowledged. And it's time to learn about that.
Exactly.
As opposed to trying to keep up with who don't slept with who, as far as Jada Pinkett and them. Who cares? Like, how is that even important? That's so pathetic that people find that more interesting than actually learning about themselves and learning where they really come from. That's sad. That takes precedence over yourself and learning your roots.
Yeah, it is.
Or that you'll rather be told this is who you are This is what you need to follow. This is what you need to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
That whole subjugation mentality is just beyond pale. And as Lex like to call cheap.
She gonna exist, y'all. They mad like the rest of
I know, you tell me about it. Yes, it's time to stop being a sheep.
Loki definitely said it.
Yes, in Avengers, humans
People
crave
crave
subjugation.
subjugation.
You need to be led. You need to be told what to do
Mm-hmm.
and how to think. That's pretty pathetic in my book.
It is a definite pathetic way of
That's a
living.
pathetic
It
existence.
is. It is.
That you actually need to be told what to think and what to believe and how to live, all of that.
Right. So, how do you think that today you would approach a person that came up to you or that you were in a group talking to that just outright said, well, you all shouldn't even exist in the first place?
You shouldn't exist.
What would you say to that, Lex?
It's not like for people who expecting I would just walk off. That's not happening. Like I don't know what I would do, but I know I would do something. I wouldn't say anything. Because it'd be too disrespectful for me to say anything, and that's what I think is happening now. Like some of the people are protesting, they're getting violent because at one point there is no talking. Like you can't just, after you say something crazy like that.
The time for talking is over.
Right.
Like
for me
with
to
these-
respond is
like with
disrespecting
these
myself. I might as well
Karens.
just hit you.
With these Karens
Oh my gosh.
Who keep-
Karens.
putting their nose in people's business
Mm-hmm.
and they're starting to get their ass whooped because of this, don't say, oh, well, they didn't have to, be violent with her or whatever. Oh, yes, they did.
Right.
Because what right do you have to interject yourself in someone's personal space? And not only that, you disrespect them as that.
Right.
You weren't invited. No one was talking to you. But yet you interjected yourself in someone's personal space and proceed to disrespect them. And then threaten to call the cops
Right.
on them after you put yourself in their personal space. Like, what? Okay, let me give you something to call the cops about. That's the mentality that people are starting to take.
Yeah. Right. If you
So to all the
something
future Karens out there, you might want to mind your business and stay in your lane. Stop interjecting yourself in people of melanin's business. If they're not saying anything to you or doing anything to you, stay away from them.
Exactly.
Don't say nothing to them. Mind your business. It really is that simple.
Yeah.
Period.
It's like this one white comedian, I forgot his name, but he generally told you pretty much how to approach people with melanin. Like, it's real simple. Be like, what's up? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real simple because it's not that we're looking for acknowledgement, but we're not looking for trouble either. But we're not going to run from the trouble either.
Right.
Because this is not that day and age where we say, oh, we're just going to ignore you, or we're just going to turn the other cheek because you're being racist right now.
Enough
Forget
of
about
that.
you. No, you're going to get punched in your face. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. It's not going to, to you, it may not solve the problem.
But to us,
To us, it's a sense of relief because you're not respecting us as human beings.
so therefore you
In
have
other
to,
words,
you get no
you're treating
respect.
us as if we're supposed to be some scum or anything that's beneath you, where you can just kick it, punch it, slay it, say negative connotations to it, and you're okay. You're supposed to get away with that. No.
Like I just read a post that somebody put up where it said a black woman was at the bus stop. She put her face mask on because she was going to get on the bus, and there was two white women at the bus stop, And when they saw her put the mask on, one of them tells her, "Oh, you put your mask on like a good slave."
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Ooh.
I seen that. I was
Now
like,
tell me how that don't warrant an ass whooping.
man.
There's no talking. There's no trying to reason. There is none of that. When you
That's crazy.
go there, which means you went down and dirty. Sometimes we got to get down and dirty with you to let you understand that will not be tolerated. And when I say we got to get down and dirty with you, that means we need to start kicking your ass for you even thinking that word could come out your mouth without no repercussions.
Right.
Again, minding somebody else's business that didn't have nothing to do. Even if you thought that, you should have kept that thought in your head. You shouldn't let that come out your mouth.
Yeah. Which I still don't understand, even just the mentality of it all at all.
Even if you
I don't
think
understand the mentality of nationality of people who think that they have to control another nationality of people. Like, where in the hell do you get that mentality from? How do you
Because
think that
they're
that's okay?
insecure, period. That's number one. That's a clear sign of insecurity. Because so you have to belittle someone else to make yourself feel higher up there. When at the end of the day you still a piece of shit. No matter how much you try to downgrade or degrade the other human being, at the end of the day, when you go home and you look in that mirror, you're looking at still the same piece of shit
So
that
basically,
you woke up to.
So basically, you're describing the same conceptualized concept that's been thrown in our face for years before we were even born, our ancestors and so forth, of just basic, simple bullying.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
really all it is.
That's pretty much what that is. And one of the things I always tell my children is, you don't do the bully. No. You whoop that bully's ass. That's how that go.
Yeah.
You show them the first time, go around. No, you better go move it along. Move it along. Because it ain't happening here.
But see, even when we look at some of the videos about the racist actions that's being taken against the people of melanin, you often see when the person of melanin retaliates, what do the actual bully do?
They cry victim.
Exactly.
As always.
So you want to
But that's been being done forever.
Yeah.
Since
I know.
forever.
But
So
it's
it's
just
like,
an
you're kinda used to
acknowledgement
that.
of what's
But okay,
happening,
I'm
you know
gonna
what
make
saying?
your victim a reality. I'm gonna, you wanna cry that, so let's make it a reality.
Right.
That's just how that goes. It's like everybody, as far as within the people of melanin community, they're tired.
Yes.
They are tired. That's just the word. They're tired. Because nothing, they want to put that little band-aid on it and say, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No, the time for the band-aid is done. Done. The band-aid only lasts for so long.
Yeah.
And after a while, it falls off.
That's true.
And then we right back. It's time for real changing to happen. It's time for some real self-reflection. And I'm talking to the people of melanin, my people. Y'all really need to get it together because it's not all them. You take some of the responsibility too, because the reasoning for the violence against each other, you have really no legit reason.
Right.
It's like beating your chest, the macho shit. Cut it out. Y'all, my thing is, for those of you gang members or whatever, y'all want to shoot like back in the Wild Wild West, take your asses to a vacant lot where it's only y'all, and y'all shoot each other up all damn day long. But stop including people who ain't got shit to do with y'all bullshit. Stop going in these neighborhoods where these children are trying to be children, play outside, enjoy life. Stop going into those neighborhoods taking their life. And the person who you're shooting at they're not even getting shot.
Right.
Which means your aim sucks. You really should have no gun.
Like the little 7-year-old girl in
Right,
Chicago
right.
that got shot when you were shooting at some other guy
Exactly.
on the west side of
Exactly.
Chicago.
Take some
Right,
accountability
seriously.
for your role in all this dysfunction that's going on. Because yes, our people play a role in it too, and they do. That's just a fact. So it's all about you want them to be held accountable. Well, you need to be held accountable too. That's just the fact. That's true. You know, stop doing stupid shit. Stop shooting people over something that's not yours. None of you own no block. You don't even own a home. How do you own a block?
Right.
Seriously?
A block of land that you didn't even
Exactly, that
purchase.
you had nothing to do with. Come on now.
You didn't even purchase that land, but yet you own it. Like, this is my block. This all
Right. And you just
Come on.
getting people, innocent people getting caught in the
So,
crossfire of this. That's
all
not
right.
how you want them to be held accountable. Well, you need to.
And not only that, think about this, because we just talked about people educating themselves and learning and understanding the things that they take action to do, or they take their time out to do.
Mm-hmm.
What was the purpose of gangs? I mean, this is a whole nother subject, and I'm not gonna really
Again,
go
they don't know
into
the
it.
history.
I'm not gonna go into it, but that we'll save that topic for another time. But it's just a question, so that those who acknowledge that, yeah, I've been gangbanging for a long time, and you ain't really got nothing out of it.
What do you have to show for that?
Exactly.
What, a tattoo and some bullet scars?
Knife.
Right. What do you have to show for that? What productivity took place with all of that? What glorious event happened because of that?
And during a situation such as now, like for example with the whole thing with George Floyd, what gang members or like some people like to call themselves, what organization came to aid and abet this man where the police were killing him? And everybody is so into, like, for example, I saw this video with T.I. and the people were protesting with Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they had a ton of police officers out there.
Of course.
And the police were out there, like, getting ready to go against these people, but T.I. stepped up in the front. And he was like, is there a crime scene? Is there a crime scene out here? He said, you got an awful lot of police officers out here. Is there a crime scene? The police wouldn't say anything, but yet they're doing like this, and everybody's trying to grab their guns, things that they said. T.I. still standing there like, is there a crime scene? Like, so what you want to grab your gun for? He identifying everything that they're doing. Now, mind you, the whole thing is being videoed. He's identifying everything that they're doing. He said, what? Because there's a bunch of black people out here?
Of
you
course.
decide you want to come out here? But it's like, what crime? But you had this one young black dude who literally takes away from what T.I. was trying to do, because he's constantly, y'all you this and you that. He constantly trying to go up there to try to fight the police officers, and T.I. was like, man, step back, stand down. Stop trying to do all that. That's not what we out here for. And then he told a couple of guys, man, take him to the back somewhere, because you're messing up.
Well, he's
exactly
cool off. Sometimes people let their emotions get the best of them.
I understand that the emotions get the best of them, but at the same time, you decided to participate in something that was a cause for our people to better be treated.
Okay, but at the same time, like I said, sometimes people let their emotions get the best. When he saw them police and how they went to put their hand on it, that probably enraged him. Like, okay, here we go again. You all still with that, even though we're not doing anything for you to even be doing any of that. Here you go. Everybody's not gonna handle the situation as calm as T.I. may be or whatever. So you can't really get mad at the dude who was like yelling or whatever, because he's probably fed up with seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was his reaction to it. So I'm glad T.I. just told me, it take him, maybe he just needs to go cool off. Mm-hmm. But to say that his reaction was, somehow wrong, I'm not gonna say that, because after all that's been witnessed and shown and the history of it, not everybody's gonna be calm and be able to keep that level about them. Some people are going to be angry and irate and yell and scream and throw shit, all of that. You can't really criticize them for that because
I'm
at that
not
time that's their
criticizing.
true emotions.
I'm not criticizing. What I was doing was, okay, when you look at the situation, you look at T.I., who's an icon to a lot of people, and then you look at the.
At the end of the day, he's a human being just like everybody else.
I get that, but I'm making a point. You got T.I., who's like an icon to a lot of people, and then you got this young man who, like, maybe not a lot of people actually even know who he is, but from two different perspectives of seeing what was going on inside of that video, it was, to me, it was honorable to see somebody step down from what other people put you on this pedestal, but it was honorable to me to see T.I. just step into a whole crowd of people and actually stand up for his people, is what I'm saying. That was honorable. And then you got this young man who's proven himself to already be out here all the time, seeing different things. He's always out here. You can tell that this young man was tired and fed up, and seeing that he was always having to hear about or see or witness, and probably even went through some things himself with this whole police brutality thing, this whole racial
I'm
thing.
not going to
You see what I'm
say
saying?
honorable and all of that because of that. I'm not going to do that because whether you're T.I. or some regular Joe Schmo walking down the street, as long as you step up to the plate and address the situation, whoever you are, or whatever class you're supposedly, put in, which is another that fucking thing.
Right. It's just what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. It's what you're supposed to be
Person
doing,
of color.
period. I'm not going to say he was honorable for doing that. He should have done it no matter who he was, considering he's a black man.
But
So,
knowing
my
T.I.,
thing
he
is,
would have done it no matter
but
what his status
I'm
is.
not saying that he wouldn't. I'm saying the fact that you said he honorable. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to do that. No. I'm not going to do that. He should have done it, as well as all black men should be doing it, no matter where your background is, no matter where you come from. All black men should be doing it. So, putting celebrities in a whole higher, praising. No. I'm not going to do that. I don't praise no fucking celebrity. You, at the end of the day, you eat, sleep, shit, piss just like I do. Only difference between me and you is that you're more well known and you do what you do as far as money. You're up there. Okay, big deal. Yay for you. At the end of the day, you the same as me. I'm not gonna put you on no pedestal because of that. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm frankly tired of seeing people do it. It's like you glorify these people like there's some second coming or whatever. Like, what? How about you put some of that glorifyingness in yourself? That work. How about that? It's just so much superficial crap that's so wrong with this world. And it's not just racism, it's just the whole way people think and put importance on things that's non-important. But the things that really are important, they very rarely get acknowledged until something really bad happens.
So,
And then everybody want to say, oh yes, this is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, what? Where was you at? That's been going on. Where were you?
So
I'm sorry, your hand was up a celebrity's ass. So yeah, you couldn't be bothered to see it.
so what do we think that our government or government officials or whomever can do to help aid getting this whole thing under
Did
control?
you really say government official?
Hey. It's the title they gave themselves. It's not the title I'm giving them.
Honestly, do we really have that? No, just honestly, that is a joke
But
to
in
me.
regards, like,
Do we really
seriously,
have that?
what do you think that these people can do in order to help put a lid on this whole racial profile?
Justice. They can do justice. All this injustice is going on. Maybe if they start doing justice and stop doing injustice because they're just as racist as all the other little people that they got working, like police officers and stuff. Maybe
Okay.
if they start doing some justice,
And
that'll help.
on the flip side, what about the fact that we don't have to keep voting them in, but yet somehow, some way, they still manage to get in office, whether we vote them in or not.
There's that.
And that's why I feel like it's on, like, the simple things like politicians saying Black Lives Matter counts. Because that can affect future references on how they get in. Like, all that matters is the tiny discussions that take place, I think, in my own personal perspective. Like,
You know, like within Congress. And
yeah,
Senate,
like the way De
and
Blasio
legislature.
told Trump he wasn't going to take the Black Lives Matter thing off the street.
Right.
Like, simple things like that can help De Blasio get elected in the future. And tiny things like that, De Blasio will have more consideration to hear us on, unless he got his own hidden agenda by doing it. But
Well,
I think it makes our voices easier to
be heard,
yeah.
and that's true. But my thing is, do the fucking job you were elected to do. Don't sit your ass in that chair collecting dust, and then all of a sudden you see something that may help you out.
Not collecting
Then
dust,
all of a
they're collecting
sudden-
our tax dollars.
At the same time, collecting dust because they're not doing anything productive
Yeah, they
except sitting there collecting that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. People need to realize how much power they really have.
Yeah.
All these people work for the people. They get paid with tax money. Where does the tax money come from? The people.
But see where the whole race card gets pulled there is a lot of people are looking at these people and putting them up to be higher than them when it's actually the people who are the ones that's on the pedestal.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
control them even having us in the office in the first place.
But see, people don't realize. It's like they've forgotten that. Like they've forgotten that somehow. Like
But then how do they remember when they go to school and they're being taught differently than what's the
and
reality
that's the
of
sad
it?
part of the whole thing. The fact that civics class is taken out of school. The fact that actual real history is not being taught in school. Social studies, you can forget about it. You know, that's just.
So you're being taught to put a mask on
Oh,
the
and
things
that's
that's
the
actually
problem.
happening
That's
and
the big
sweep
problem.
certain things under the rug for
That's the
what's
big
really
problem.
happening. Then when they hit the real world, you're not ready.
It's sad.
Then
That's
you
what
don't
I'm
even
saying.
know
There's
how
so
to fight
many
against
things
the whole racist
wrong
war
with
that's
the
going on
world
today.
that takes way more precedence than what celebrity slept with who. Who gives a damn? How is that of any importance as far as life-changing events?
But that's prioritized. You gotta look at it from
It's
a
what's
priority
wrong with
standpoint because
people.
they're not prioritizing what really needs to happen. Like for example, our racial wars that we're fighting today. The fact that you got excessive force being used for no apparent reason.
Exactly.
You got high levels of unemployment going on. You got all these people out here homeless.
People having
when
to
there
work 2
should
and 3
be
jobs
other
just to
places.
maintain
Right.
the minimum,
You
let
can't-
alone anything outside of that, but
Right.
the minimum. That
So many
shouldn't be in
people-
existence.
So many people losing their homes, losing their businesses.
Yep.
Like and not only losing their business because of financial reasons, but also because of the same thing that like what Donald Trump pulled. Had these people working on one of his buildings
pay them.
and didn't pay these people.
And he's
then
not the only
filed
one that
bankruptcy,
does
you know?
that.
I'm not
It's so
saying
many
that he's the
people-
only
no.
one that does it. It's just
I'm saying it's that's been done and have been done more than it was
Yes,
talked about.
yes.
And it's just that's what I'm saying. So I don't give a damn who slept with who. So what? That's them. Let them deal with that. But my concern is my children's future, my grandchild's future.
Exactly.
You know, what type of future are they gonna have if major changes are not done
yeah.
like now?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Millennials and Gen Z, they should be concerned about this as well because this is their future
Yes, it is.
that they need to be concerned about. What about them? How are they gonna, maintain and this and that?
Mhm.
So, to be all into stupid shit, stuff that's really has no bearing on you,
Mhm.
you need to get involved in something that's really
That's really
going
gonna
to
help
affect your
humanity.
life in the long run as well as your children's lives and your
Yeah.
grandchildren's life. You need to get involved. You need to Pay attention. Do real research. I'm not talking about, Googling every damn thing. Go to a library. Get an actual book.
Yes.
Read the book. Everything can't be found on the internet. It can't. So sometimes you gotta actually get up off your ass, go to a library, and actually research the book.
So, out of all the things that has taken place in society today, the racism seems to be one of the things that's at the top of the list right now. As young people, what are some of the platforms, what are some of the things that our young people are doing today to help make changes in this type of event?
Who wants to go first? Millennial or Gen Z?
I feel like something just we doing like for the little things we doing now as far as like I feel like voicing is most important. It's like the most important for me because we don't know anyone else's. We don't know many perspectives, at least in the black community. Like, of course, from a lot of people, from a lot of white folks, we can get the assumption they either all lives matter or white lives or black lives matter. But in the black community, we don't know which black people are Candace Owens, and we don't know which black people, how many of those there are. And there could be a lot of them in that 14% category, but like I think a lot of black folks don't really know each other. So I feel like voicing is most important, at least to get to an understanding in the black community.
So, what do you think some of the things that can be done to?
Well, so far what Gen Z got going on, since we're like really into the age of technology and all of that, and especially with the whole quarantine thing that's going down, the lockdown, all of that, we're just really getting into all the social medias and all the, platforms that we like to use to put our input out there, get our word out, educate others about Black lives and all of that, and we're just trying to keep it flowing.
So basically networking.
Yeah.
Live networking. Which is always good.
Social media,
Networking.
Yeah, we got
pretty good.
TikTok, Discord. We be making Zoom calls sometimes to talk about what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna put too much information.
So do y'all have any like group segments that other young people should join to help you all out so that we can like Lex was saying.
It's
Like
many
Lex was
different
saying
ways that a lot of young people can hop on board.
engage
Engage
because a
in
lot of people don't know each
conversation
other.
and
Yep.
debate.
Yep.
And it should be open to all, white, Mexican, whatever. If you're a human and you're living in this country, you need to just, get involved.
That's what I was doing.
That's just it.
Today.
There's really only one true race, and that's the human race. Or sometimes how I firmly believe there's actually two races, and that's all, just two, human and subhuman. So, that being said, I'm pretty sure some people don't like me using that term subhuman, but it is what it is, and it's a reality. Any closing comments or whatever, because, out to the people. Okay, hey, nothing wrong with that. All right.
Black lives matter.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
So one of my closing things, just closing statement. People need to learn to educate themselves on your environment, educate yourselves on people in general, and take into consideration what you think about situations and not so much as what everyone else thinks about situations. Take that into consideration and only worry about what you're thinking, and don't be afraid to express who you are and not worry about how everyone else feels about you and what you're thinking.
And last but not least, me. I'm pretty sure I said some things in this segment that were not so friendly and somewhat harsh, and I'll take that because at the end of the day, I'm gonna stay me, true to me, no matter what. The reason being is because I am passionate about everybody working together. Everybody stop looking at the outer of a person and look at the inner of a person. That's what really counts, not the shade of your skin. The sooner people realize that, the better we can all start to progress and move forward for the better. And I think everybody at the end of the day, the common goal is for people to live in harmony and peace. That's pretty much what everyone wants. The problem is going about accomplishing that. Meaning erasing all the stupidity, all the ignorance, all the hate. What has that really gotten anybody behaving like that? What? More chaos, more confusion, staying stuck, stagnant. Is that really living? I'm pretty sure that's not our purpose for being here. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning into our segment. Hopefully you will join us next week where our topic will be music. Once again, shout out to our
Peeps.
squad. Thank you so much again. Have a good day.